All right, we're going to real quickly get a couple announcements out of the way before we dive into the information. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. We got a lot of great information in store for each and every one of you. I would definitely recommend getting a pen out, paper out, trying to jot down as much information as you possibly can. Right now, obviously, everybody's closing the month out in a big, big way. And this training is really going to help take your business to the next level. So I'm going to go through a couple announcements here real quickly, and then we'll dive into the main training. You guys know what's happening right now. Chile, Peru are both countries that we're opening up. We know March 3rd is going to be the pre-launch Zoom. March 18th, online orders begin. We're going to start shipping out products March 25th. And obviously, April 30th will be the first month closing, and commissions are going to be getting paid out there on May 15th. So everybody's excited about Chile and Peru. Also, Spain and Ireland about to get kicked off. Obviously, March 9th, we're going to be doing that first European pre-launch Zoom. And then obviously March 25th, online orders start. And there's the schedule there for Ireland and Spain. Everybody's looking forward to the expansion right now. Italy and Colombia right after that, March 25th. We're going to do the pre-launch preparation website. And the online registration starts April 15th. So everybody right now, there's a schedule. Everybody's so excited about Italy, Colombia. These are going to be exciting markets for Riman. So real quickly, just wanted to make sure everybody knows when you get your starter sets, a lot of people, what happens is everybody wants to upgrade before the end of the month, right? Everybody's like, look, I got to make sure no matter what that I get my hands on an upgrade before my 30 days is over. A lot of people like to do that before the end of the month if they're brand new. And I highlighted a couple packs here because when you get these packs, you want to make sure you get your 10 lifetime customers, those accounts opened up. And the reason being is because those 10 free lifetime customers are going to actually take your override from on your first month there from 5% to 10% on level one. So you're going to double your money with these bigger sets. And then on level two, you're going to go from 0 to 5% because you unlock that uni level. So right now, everybody's unlocking their uni level more than ever before. The excitement right now is at an all-time high. Same thing, obviously, we all know in Canada. How you start is going to duplicate. When you're getting people started with starter sets, it's very important to make sure that you understand the reason why everybody gets that 1,000-point starter set, right? Because like I said, you're going to get 5% on level one there. If you don't get that, obviously the 1,000 SP starter set, right? You got to make sure you get your 10 free lifetime customers. But if you get that 1,000-point set or higher and you get your 10 lifetime customers, you unlock 10%. So you're literally doubling your money on your first level. Obviously, on level two, you're going to be getting 5%. And if you duplicated that out just by duplicating what you did with five and then teaching them to do the same thing, what happens is you're looking at basically $505 on that second level, on that first level, and on that second level, you're going to be making close to $2,000. So there's a lot of incentive to make sure that you get people started the right way and create that correct culture right from the very beginning. Okay, I always like to tell people how you start is going to duplicate, and this is what I realize. Right, if I get started with no set at all, right, that's basically going to war without any weapons, right? I know that I needed products, but if you get started with no set or 300-point set, 1,000-point set, 1,500-point set, two of the 1,500s or four of the 1,500-point sets, I'm going to show you how many people you need to recruit that does the same thing or sponsor that does the same thing in order for you to rank advance to senior manager, right? So when I got started, obviously I got four of the 1,500-point sets. I needed the product. So I got started at that with those sets automatically made me a senior manager, right there in one transaction. If you get started with two 1,500-point sets, you need to get one recruit, right? A 1,500-point set, three, 1,000-point set, five, 300-point sets. You need to recruit 19 people to do the same thing. And if you get no kit, it's going to take you infinity. For the rest, you got to get products. I mean, I tell people that want to get a 300 set or no set, just be a customer. You know what I mean? Like try the products, get some customers lined up, and then we'll get you. You can upgrade later on, right? To distributor. Now I want to talk about that 6,000 that I got started with. How I hit senior manager instantly. You all know that if I get started and I sell or buy 3,000 points, I'm going to make $232, right? Because I'm getting 10% as a planner. Then I'm going to become a manager, right? And then I'm going to upgrade to 20%. Okay, so I'm going to get 464 on that next 3,000 of whatever I sell or buy. But when you get started like I did at 6,000, you're going to make 20% on the whole entire situation. So when I got started, I was like, this is a no-brainer, right? I'm going to make 20% instead of 10 and 20. I'm making 20 on the whole thing. I'm a senior manager on day one. Now, obviously, this is not for everybody. I don't encourage people to do this that are not business minded. for me, I understand like the average small business in America, $450,000, right? And I know that almost 90%, 84% of those businesses fail within 5 years. And the Small Business Administration tells us the average small business loan is 450,000, right? And the people that are profiting about 5 to 7%. So I realized, wait a second, if I get started and I get these sets, I got the products I need to build my business, very low startup costs financially. And then at the same time, I'm a senior manager. I'm starting to profit 30% off my customers. I was like, that's a no-brainer. 30% profit is unbelievable in business today, right? So let's talk a little bit about the trips. Everybody knows we have fun. Costa Rica, this is the last day. Actually, tomorrow's the last day to qualify for that retreat. June 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. We're going to be obviously at the Marriott Oceans Resort. That's going to be unbelievable. Love it there. Qualification closes tomorrow night at 11:59 Pacific. We want to make sure we get all of our qualifications in. Obviously, we know the different tiers that are available, the travel points, how to actually acquire the travel points, right? If you get somebody started with a 1,500 point set, you get 100 points. If you get somebody started like I got started with 4 of the premium sets, you're basically going to get what? 400 points right there, right? So it's really easy to qualify as long as you do the work. Just introduce people to the products and opportunity. Some of you obviously are just getting started with Riman. Don't worry, we have another trip right around the corner, right? So right now in Asia Pacific, we've got obviously in America, we're going to start run for starting February 1st. We're going to start run for Bahamas and Mexico and US, Canada. Phuket started January 1st. So everybody in Asia is running for Phuket, Thailand. That's going to be so much fun. And then obviously everybody in Europe is running for Monaco, right? January 1st is whenever the volume started counting for those qualifications. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4. Obviously, this moment in time with all these retreats happening, shares with you how you can become basically how you can get travel points and accumulate travel points for that. It's a year round. So the travel points are a little bit different than what we just experienced with that little few month promotion of Costa Rica. Okay. So we also have the global directors. All the directors are running right now for Dubai. That's going to be fun. We're going to have so much fun in Dubai. Make sure if you're a director, you're qualified. And obviously there's different tiers there as well. We'll go more into details as time progresses, but there's never been a better time right now to become a director in Riman because of all the excitement right now that's happening. Now, the biggest thing happening right now are the events. This is what has everybody so excited. The biggest one right now is literally less than 30 days away. We are all going to be together in Long Beach, California. This is going to be the biggest and best event ever. We got new product launching at this event. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. But I want to highlight some things that are happening right now. We have a 10-ticket bundle that comes to an end. They did a big discount on 10-ticket bundles for people that didn't have their hands on tickets right now. That's going to be going on until February 1st. So you want to make sure you take advantage of that. Obviously, that's coming to an end. Also, this is the big thing that they announced a couple of days ago is Leadership Day for senior managers and above. This training is absolutely probably the highlight of the last convention. Everybody agrees, nobody disagrees. This was, the highlight of everybody's time. When we went to the Leadership Day, you've got to be a senior manager right now. Get that wrapped up, but it's going to be from 2 to 6 p.m. at the Long Beach is out to participate with this. This was so much fun. Learned so much. I literally walked out of there different than I did walking in. And you've got to make sure that everybody on your team, guess what? Everybody on your team qualifies for this in North America. You got to make sure everybody, no matter what, gets the opportunity to be able to be a part of that by hitting senior manager right now, right? We got to get that done, obviously, before February 26th. You're going to get unbelievable training, like the training that you're going to get next level. I mean, you couldn't imagine. It's really advanced. I mean, when you walk out of there, you're like, wow, you know what? Most people that were there, I think everybody I talked to said that event, the last convention, was more valuable than the entire rest of the weekend. So what I'm telling you right now, if you've got people in your organization that are not senior managers yet, guess what? Let's get them to senior manager so they can attend that leadership day. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Then obviously, we all know Team Leader Night's coming. That's going to be Friday night, February 27th at 7:30 to 10 p.m. The Regency Ballroom. So right after the senior manager and above leadership day, we're all going to be getting ready for this. It's going to be so much fun. Get to Team Leader right now. You got RSVP by February 16th. It's going to be so much fun. And I think, just the camaraderie, being around everybody, the fun, it's just so much. I just love it. Our Team 1% party is going to be at on Saturday at 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. At the Long Beach Convention Center right there. We've got DJ, drawing, raffles, swag. We got a 360 photo booth, right? Best costume contest. We're going to have so much fun at that event. Make sure that anybody that is going to be there, I know some of you have breakout sessions right after the training on Saturday. But right after your breakout sessions are done, get over to the party. We're going to be over there partying and having a good time right there at the Long Beach Convention Center, okay? Macau, we all know that's coming up at the London Air, April 17th to the 19th. And get your tickets for that right now. If you're in Asia, don't miss that. That moment in time, this event is going to set forth in motion some exciting momentum in Asia. Things happening right now. Tomorrow, we've got our Chinese events that are going on. We've got, I'm really excited for you to meet Eva Hugh, Powerhouse. Japan, we've got that going on at 7 p.m. Pacific. That's going to be so much fun. You got people in Japan, for people that speak Japanese, get them dialed in on that. And I want to highlight this is happening tomorrow. This is going to be coming to a close. Don't wait. The bag's already sold out. I just got an announcement right for this call. I couldn't switch this flyer out. The bag's just sold out, right? The little red bags. So you realize these things are flying right now. So make sure you take advantage of the romantic radiance. These are only available double travel points. That's huge for everybody running for Costa Rica. But make sure you get your hands on these before they sell out. And then obviously pay period deadline everywhere in the world. We all run on 11:59 Pacific Saturday, January 31st. Make sure you got your unilevel qualifications in. New managers and senior managers have met their rank advancements. The new ones that are getting rank advanced, because November volume will fall off come February 1st. Obviously, team leader, everybody's running for team leader. Wrap that up. September volume is going to be falling off. 3 to 5 active customers for you guys that are senior managers and above, and our managers and senior managers, 3. As we all know, 5 for team leaders and above. Costa Rica qualifications, make sure you get them in. You got to be qualified for Costa Rica. If you're a team leader, everybody's pretty much got their 10,000 maintenance. If you got any team leaders that maybe for whatever reason, maybe spent a little bit more time on the holidays than they should have, a little holiday hangover, and didn't get their 10,000 maintenance, help them get that done right now. And obviously, if you're running for your retailer bonus, 2 to 4,000 personal SP. So we're running hard. Monday, we got Mr. Danny Bay. Monday, after that, North America, we got our rundown. We're going to be talking about this upcoming event. Obviously, our Spanish event's going to be happening, opportunity presentation. If you've got people in Southern California, we're going to be giving out $3,000 this month on Monday nights. You can't miss that, okay? If you got a guest in Southern California, great place to start building, right? With the Long Beach event right around the corner, get some new people started in Southern California. Chris and I will help you start building the organization and then guess what? You'll have a big team at Long Beach of a lot of brand new people, okay? Tuesday, we got the orientation training. Wednesday, we're going to be doing the UK overview at 7 p.m. UK time, 11 a.m. Pacific. Abigail Meister, one of the best in the business, going to be sharing the Riman opportunity. Wednesday, we've got the orientation in Spanish everybody's excited about. And then pay plan training. How many of you want to know more about pay plan? Well, I'm going to be breaking it down Wednesday, the 4th. It's going to be amazing training on how the pay plan works, right? You got to make sure you know how the money works, right? Thursday, we got an overview. It's going to be exciting. And then Friday, I'm going to be doing 8 secrets to leadership development. If you've never seen that training, you got to be on. If you've seen it before, I've got some updated material. This training is going to be exciting. Don't miss that. Okay, so let's get into it. All right, here we go. How you can master the science of promotion. Now, I want to talk to you about promoting because when I first got involved in this industry, I went to a Jim Rohn training on July 21st. I think it was at Anaheim Convention Center. And no, it wasn't Anaheim Convention Center. It was the Disneyland Hotel. I'm sorry. And he talked about promotion and how it pays big money. And it's one of the most important skills that you can develop in the industry of direct sales, he said. And it's really I want to say it's a lost science because so many people right now don't really understand how promotion really works, what it really is. And the reason being is because as technology, mainly when social media came around, I would say the industry, there was some shifts that happened back in the early 90s. We didn't have cell phones, right? So we had to get good at promoting, right? We had to call people at home, right? And catch them on their landline. We didn't call landlines. We just called a phone because that was the only thing available. That was when I first got in the industry. And then the cell phones started to come out there. Really, everybody started to get their hands on them, right? In the 99 or 90, probably like 99. and it was still the same thing. It was just easier to get in touch with people. And then whenever you see now, you saw social media in 2012 come out. People really started that have been in the industry since 2012. They really missed this part of the industry, and I think this is the reason why, with the knowledge that I have from 30 years ago, that's the reason why I'm able to have so much success in Riman. And I've never really trained it; I just did it, right? But today I'm actually going to teach it to you. And when you get off this call, if you can wrap your head around 50% of this information, your group is going to grow like wildfire through a dry brush field. If you get up there to like 50 or 60%, which is, 60, 70%, it's a lot. Your group will start to grow out of control. But I can tell you right now, this is such an exciting thing to talk about. So first things you got to understand the importance of promoting, right? Promoting. What is it? I love what P.T. Barnum says, right? P.T. Barnum once said, without promotion, something terrible happens. Nothing, right? Because you've got to promote. You've got to promote. And Jim Rohn calls promoting getting somebody to do something maybe that they wouldn't have normally done. That's the best I've ever heard definition of promoting. Getting somebody to do something that maybe they wouldn't have done on their own. That's promoting. Okay. That's literally a perfect example of what promoting is. Okay. Now you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And that's something that when I first got in this industry kind of bothered me a little bit. I had some buddies that I got started and they didn't really want to do anything. And I was like, dang, man. And my mentor said, Tim, you can't make them drink, but you can make them thirsty. And I said, what? And that's really promotion, right? Promoting is as having the ability to be able to get someone excited to want to do something, right? And you do that. I'm going to teach it today, but it's kind of like a salt lick, right? For a horse. Yeah, a horse starts licking some salt, and sure enough, they want to drink some water. This guy's over here leading by example, right? Drinking out of the water hole, trying to get that horse excited to do the same thing. But the fact of the matter is you want to get the skill of promoting so you can learn how to make people thirsty, to make people want to take action. I was talking to somebody the other day and they said, I got a couple of people started, they didn't do nothing. And I looked at them like, dude, what do you mean they didn't do anything? It's your job to promote. You know what I mean? And he didn't even understand what promoting was. I was like, man, I got to start teaching this dude. So this is going to be a powerful training today. And most people build Riman like playing the telephone game, right? Remember the telephone game when you were a little kid? Instead of really truly promoting the system, right? So the telephone game is you tell somebody. By the time it gets like 4 or 5 levels removed, it's a completely different message. What you have to do is learn how to promote. Let me say it again. Learn how to promote. I'll say it one more time. Learn how to promote the system, right? Which is pop-ups, orientations, overviews, conventions. And then what happens is the system will teach 100% information to your team and it'll perpetuate, right? You want to build a system-dependent business, not a personality or a person-dependent business. If your business is dependent on you, you can never stop working, okay? So you want to create a system-dependent business. And how you do that is by promoting the system. It's not I used to think whoever has the best system wins. I thought that for probably about 6 or 7 years when I got started in this profession. Then I figured out who can promote the system the best that wins. Because I've used so many different systems to become successful in this industry over the last 30 years. So I know your system is not as important as your ability to be able to promote it. If you can learn how to promote your system better than anybody else, system that we use, your organization is going to perpetuate like it's going to grow like wildfire through a dry brush field. So you've got to get good at promoting the system, promoting pop-ups. Somebody goes, well, I don't necessarily like this, that, or the other thing. It's like, doesn't like, I don't like, I don't like McDonald's, but they're still making a lot of money. Like, let's be serious, okay? So what we want to do is learn how to promote the system. Okay, that's how you're going to be able to build fast. Okay, now learning to promote. Okay, learning to promote will move runners to home and not leave them stuck on base. Meaning, like if in baseball, for instance, right? And when you got a runner on first base, that might be piquing somebody's interest, getting them to a K-pop, right? Getting them to a three-way call, maybe a one-on-one Zoom, whatever, right? But you get somebody on first base. Now you got to promote to get them to second base, right? You got to promote. Okay, and I'm going to talk about what promoting is. And some of you have you don't know exactly what I'm talking about when I say promoting. By the time this training's over, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. But you got it. Promotion is what's going to move them to take action. Okay, now if they get started on first base, that's fine, but you still got to promote to move them to second base. Because if not, they get stuck on first and they don't do anything, and you don't get a point for that, right? In baseball. So you've got to learn how to promote the next experience. Promote. If you're taking notes, promote. Okay. And how you promote is everything. And I'm going to teach it to you today. So let's get into it. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about promotion. Let's say that you've only got 5 people on your team. Okay. I know some of you've got way more than that. I know some of you don't have 5. It doesn't matter. Okay. But let's just say you've got 5 frontline people. Okay. If you have 5 frontline planners and there's an event coming up, how many of them would you want to be on the training, learning more information about Riman out of those 5? Most people say 5 out of 5 because if somebody gets on a training, they're going to be thinking about Riman. If they're at home watching Netflix, they're probably not thinking about Riman. You guys see that? So you want people doing what? Thinking about Riman. So you probably want all of them. Okay. It's kind of like teeth. Which teeth do you want to brush? The ones you want to keep, right? So if you do you want them paying attention on the training or do you want them taking a shower? Probably paying attention, right? Um, what happens if they attend the training, right? If they're on the training, now they're thinking about Riman, right? They're thinking about Riman, hopefully learn some stuff. What happens if they don't? They're not thinking about Riman. They're thinking about whether they want to do Riman or not. Okay. So how would you get them to attend? Now, one philosophy is, well, if they're serious, they're going to get on. Okay. That's a philosophy. I don't know how much money it's going to make you, but it's a philosophy. My philosophy is I'm going to get them all on. What? How? I'm going to call them and I'm going to get them jacked about the orientation. I'm going to get them jacked about the training. I'm going to get them jacked about whatever I've got going on. See, when somebody gets started in Riman, I've got a very narrow time to get them on as many. Like when I do a Riman overview, usually my overview that I do is a one-on-one. I do usually about 8 one-on-ones a day, and I do a Zoom overview. And usually, you guys have probably heard my story. If you haven't, you probably will. And I tell my story, and I promote. Once again, that word promote. I promote the next event, which is whatever's going on that night. Okay. And what I do is then I'll call them before and I say, look, man, make sure no matter, and I tell them, and no matter whatever you got going on, you got to cancel it. You got to be on this call. This training is really going to help you go to the next level. Okay. I'm not going to take no for an answer. You got to be on there. That's called promoting. Right. And I'm telling them, look, man, make sure you got your camera on, make sure you're taking notes. Okay. Because how I was able to become successful in business is my mentor saw me sitting in the front row taking notes. And he was like, this guy wants it. Like you could tell that I wanted. I was always the first person at every event, sitting in the front, pen and paper, actually a journal and pen, taking notes. And they took a unique liking to me. And they said, let's help this guy become successful. So for me, it's like, you got to be on the call taking notes. You guys see, do you understand the difference? Some people are like, I don't call people, right? I just mention it or I'll send them a text or whatever. But look, you want to be very disciplined when the amounts are small, right? When is the most important time to have your team attend events, right? Because an event is like a star in Mario Brothers, right? Once somebody gets that star in Mario Brothers, guess what happens? Okay. They're unstoppable, right? They hit that star and guess what happens? Bam, they're unstoppable. Nothing can stop them. Okay. And that happens for a while and then that star wears off. So by that next time the star wears off, you got to get them on what? Another event. Or you've got to get together with them. Okay. And you keep doing that until they start seeing results. So let's talk about it. The first 4 weeks, what I tell people when they get started, so look, the first 4 weeks, you want to plug into as many things that are happening as possible. Why? Because you need to get down the story, right? You need to learn how to do this. And I want you to think about this for a second. Please. Are you trying to get a good grade or are you trying to learn something? I kind of pondered that. And I think a lot of times now that people that join network marketing, they want to make a lot of money, but they don't want to learn how to do it. What do you think is more valuable? My knowledge or my paycheck? Think about it. My knowledge is way more valuable because I've been able to use my knowledge to make a lot of money over and over and over and over again. So would you rather have my knowledge or my paycheck? You understand what I'm telling you? It's like you want people that want to learn how to do it. Somebody's like, I just want to make a lot of money. Okay. Well, all right, making a lot of money is pretty good, right? Trust me. But learning how to do this is way better. So you're looking for people that want to learn how to do this, not just that want the results. Okay. Number 2 is what? when they start enrolling customers and planners, man, you got to get them on because now they're getting fired up, right? They're starting to see it, and then they're getting plugged in and they're fired up and they're getting their people, they're promoting to their people, okay? And then what happens is until they reach senior manager. To me, that's the most important thing. When somebody gets started, it's like you got to be like a bridge, right, for them, okay? And that's what the system does. It is a bridge over troubled waters, okay? And it gets them to obviously that rank. Always follow up after the event to find out what they learned. Give me some notes on some of the stuff you learned. Ooh, that was hot. I saw that too. And tell them some of the stuff that you learned. When you treat your business seriously, right? Number one, you're going to grow and you're going to learn how to do it. But number two is guess what? Your team is going to grow. What are we trying to do here? What's our what's our objective? We want to become wealthy, obviously, but we also want to learn how to do this so we never have to worry about money ever again, right? It's like, are you trying to get from point A to point B, or are you trying to learn how to ride a bike, right? So here's what promoting is. When there's an upcoming event, you want to personally reach out to your team and get them committed to attend, right? Make a phone call is like, boom. That's what we used to have to do in the 90s because there was no cell phones, stuff like that. FaceTime call. We got FaceTime now, right? That's always a good one because now it's more personable. A voice note, right? Sending them a little voice note, at least they can hear your enthusiasm. But if you're super lazy, okay, at least send them a personalized text, right? That's the least you could do. If you just at least a personalized text, right? But you got to start building up for it immediately, right? When I'm doing a presentation, I'm giving commercials for the next thing that's happening. Meaning every 3 to 5 minutes when I do a presentation, I'm already promoting the next event. So I'm giving commercials throughout my presentation, promoting it. And I'll get more into this. I'll get more into this next week. Okay, and we talk about, the 8 secrets to developing leadership, right? You're going to want to attend that. Now let's talk about what happens when you make it personal. Number one, they feel important. They know you care. They know the event is important, right? You're establishing the correct culture. Phone call, FaceTime, voice. They can feel your energy. That's magical. Okay. Now explain to me I'm explaining to you what other people do. It's called post and pray. Okay. When there's an upcoming event, you make a post and pray that your team attends. Okay. When there's an upcoming event, you just post and pray. Okay. You see an upcoming event, you don't make a phone call, don't send a voice note, don't send a personalized text, don't do anything. You just post it in a WhatsApp group or whatever and hope everybody jumps on. Okay. That's not effective. Okay. Because why? They don't feel special. They don't know that you care, right? They don't know how important it really is. Okay. You're not establishing the correct culture. Mainly when your group is new, right? When we only had a couple hundred people in our team, we would always have a couple hundred people on the call, right? When we first got started, we knew we had to get a lot of people on the call. Any call that was going on, any training, any overview, anything, whatever was happening, we had to dominate it, right? We had to promote it. And I'd be calling to my frontline people, hey man, how many is your team going to have on tonight, right? Who's going to be getting on? 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 And that's how you become successful, right? How you can master promoting. Let's talk about how you can master it. Okay, you want to be relational, not transactional. When you really care about somebody, you know in order for them to be successful, they got to get plugged in. So when you're relational, right, you're focusing in on them, right? A transactional person, they focus on goals and outcomes. Relational people, long-term connection, motivation, self-interest, immediate gains. For transactional people, relational people, mutual benefit and connection, right? Transactional people, short-term, task-oriented, relational, long-term, emotionally invested, right? Transactional people are superficial. Relational people are what? Neat, right? Transactional people, we look at everything as a quick business deal. Relational is like a close friendship. Like they really genuinely care. That's why they want to get their team trained and get them dialed in and make sure that they're not that they're staying on fire, right? It's like you ever have a cell phone battery go dead, right? You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, my phone is dead. Like that's what happens to your organization if you don't get them plugged in. You got to get them plugged in, right? You got to realize that the system is the charger, right? That's what we're talking about here. So here's a couple of things from John C. Maxwell. Touch a heart before you ask for a hand. To help somebody find what they're looking for, first you got to find out what they're looking for. And if I'm going to help you try to find something, I go to your house, you're looking for something, I'm going to help you find it. I'm searching around. But if I don't know what I'm looking for, probably not going to be able to find it. So I need to know what you want out of this business, right? Number two is what? Discover the why, right? But more importantly, the why they want the what they want. Most people tell you what they want. Why do they want it? What's the emotional connection to it? How's it going to feel? Right? Care enough to tell people what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. Right? Some people are just like, oh, you can't make it on? Okay. Like, it's like telling a kid, like, hey, put down, would you mind putting down that gun to a little 4-year-old? Right? I mean, it's like, what? Whoa, you're not going to say it like that. You're going to yell and put the damn phone, put the damn gun down, right? Like, you know what I mean? Or a knife or whatever, right? It's like, you've got to make sure you tell people what they want to hear. I mean, got to tell people what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. Somebody might not want to hear that, you know what, that they've got to be at convention. They might not want to hear that. But guess what? They need to hear that. Or you're doing them a disservice, right? So we got to make sure we understand, have a big heart and a backbone, not a wishbone, but a backbone. Okay. Don't wish it will happen, right? You got to have a backbone and have a huge heart and care enough to tell people what reality is. Care more about the person than the transaction. Okay. I love that. First, talk about destination before vehicle and the route you take, right? So, like, give an example. We talk about vehicle, route, or destination. Destination is what people want to talk about. Then we'll talk about route or vehicle, right? So you want to. I'm trying to invite you to Disney, and I'm not going to tell you for the flight pattern. I'm not going to tell you that we got a vertical stabilizer on the back of our plane, right next to the rudder. And what? No, that's weird. I'm going to talk about what do you like to do at Disneyland? Right? Oh my God. You like to see the characters. You like to go on rides. You like to walk down Main Street. You know what I mean? You like to eat the corn dogs, like whatever, right? You want to find out what motivates people. And then we're going to make sure that we help them get it. And when you help them get what they want, you've got to be honest with them. Okay. You got to tell them the truth. The truth is they've got to get to the convention, right? They've got to do certain things. I'm going to teach you right now how I became the master promoting. It's probably the easiest stuff in the world. Okay. You can, like, when you listen to me talk, right? I sound pretty charismatic or enthusiastic, passionate. Okay. I wasn't like that when I first got in. I was very quiet, very shy. Okay. Um, I'm more of an introvert than I am like a talker. I know you're probably saying there's 0% chance, but you go ask my wife, right? She'll tell you. My kids will tell you. Like, I'm more of a thinker than a talker. Okay. But when what is taught this very early on in my career, what I'm about to teach you, it changed everything. Okay. They said, Tim, you've got to be very urgent when you talk to people. And then you got to say, just trust me. Whatever you've got going on, you need to cancel. Okay. I'm not taking no for an answer. This is how I was able to get so many people exposed to the business so fast. Okay. Is because I leaned on the relationship with my friends. When I got started in Riman, what I do, same thing. Dude, just trust me. Whatever you got going on, you need to cancel, right? I'm not taking no for an answer. We got to meet up. The reason why it works is because it's the way that I see the opportunity. If you found a gold mine, would you call somebody up and be like, so, hey, what's up? What are you doing? Oh, yeah. Oh, that sounds fun. Oh, I need to check that out. Oh, well, I just found a gold mine. It's when I like maybe you might want to maybe like take a look at it. That's not how you would invite to a gold mine. When you find a gold mine, man, you got to be urgent, right? Oh my God, just trust me. Whatever you got going on, you got to cancel, right? I'm not taking no for an answer. That's called having a backbone. Now, not all of you guys are going to do this, right? Now, some of you are like, I am. When I got started in this industry, I was quiet. That's why it worked. See, if you're quiet and you're kind of a more of a quiet, shy person, and you come across like that, people are going to be like, oh my God, I got to go. What's going on? Like, you're going to change everything. Okay. If you're kind of a loud person, might not work as well, right? But if you're more of a quiet person or shy, telling you right now, that little formula that I just gave you is literally what I did to blow it up quick in this profession 30 years ago. And I still use it today. Okay. Because when you're very urgent, it creates excitement and action. Trust me, when you say that, it lets them know that you care about them. Okay. Whatever you got going on, you got to cancel it. If they cannot cancel, they won't cancel it. But they're going to know in their mind that whatever you're talking about is really important. And now they're very curious to find out what it is. Okay. I'm not taking no for an answer. Okay. This lets them know that you're confident, right? That you're going to make sure that you win, right? That if like when they meet with you, they can see you're confident in what you're doing. Okay. I'm not taking no for an answer, right? They know you've got confidence in that if they follow you and they get started in business with you, you're getting started with somebody that knows where they're going, right? So, and that's the promoting the convention if you want to learn the big money. Okay, let's talk about this for a second. If this is Riman, this little Hot Wheels track, let me show you something right now. This portion right here is the convention. Okay, the convention is how your business explodes. Because what happens is the decisions are made at the convention to engage in the process. So the decisions and the commitments are made at the convention. Okay. And that's what speeds your organization up, right? Everybody comes out of the convention absolutely on fire. And by the time the racetrack car comes around, right before it gets to that little, to the convention again, it's kind of slowing down and then it hits the convention. So the convention is really the driver, right? It's the heartbeat. It's the heart of your organization. Okay. The convention is the heart of your organization. Like the heart beats the blood, right? You know what I'm talking about, beating like a heartbeat, not like beating heart just beat the like on the blood, but you understand it's like your heart is beating all the time and it's pumping blood throughout your entire body. That's the convention. Okay. So let me explain it to you. When you get your team to attend the convention, they make a decision to get committed to success. Okay. In between the convention, they grow through the process. The process of growth happens in between event to event. Right. But the only place to make that true decision is at the convention. Now, I'm explaining you now more than ever before. It's even more important because most people build and do a lot of Zoom stuff, or they'll do a lot of one-on-ones and smaller meetings at pop-ups in living rooms or Starbucks or whatever. They're doing smaller pop-ups, and you can't really make that true decision until you get in an environment like the convention. And I always look at like that game. I'm probably some of you guys don't remember the arcade, but there used to be this thing called the arcade before everybody had like way cool video game machines. But every time you put a quarter in, if you hit this part where it said checkpoint and outrun, you got to keep playing, right? And then if you didn't hit that checkpoint, you had to put some more quarters in, right? So the checkpoint is like the convention. You got to get people to the convention, right? It prolongs their life, right? Now, when a new person starts, okay, we get them committed to the convention ASAP. So everything they hear about the convention, they get more excited. Like, let me give an example. My wife, my daughter, a long time ago, my daughter was probably in like fifth grade, sixth grade, bought her like these Justin Bieber tickets, right? When Bieber was just getting started. Okay. And he was just like 12 years, like I don't even know how old the dude was. And it was like in San Diego, which is like an hour and a half. And she got 2 tickets, one for her and her friend, and my wife. So she got 3 tickets. And my wife took the girls down there, right? But my wife had bought them about a year in advance. So every time a Justin Bieber song came on, my daughter was jacked. Every time, like, somebody would wear a Justin Bieber shirt to school, she was jacked. Why? Because she was so fired up because she knew she was going to go see him. So we got so much mileage out of all those tickets. Now, if we would have bought them last minute, still would have been cool, but we wouldn't have got as much value out of it. That's why you got to get your people to get committed to the convention right away. Okay. And let me give you an example, right? This is how we build is there's 2 conventions a year. Okay. And you've got to be, everything that you're doing is to fill that event. Okay. You fill that event. That's all you're trying to do, right? It's all the new people that get started. If somebody gets started doesn't come to that event, you basically got them started for no reason. You should have got them as a customer, right? You know what I mean? You got to make sure that people are going to be at the event when they get started, because you can't develop somebody into a leader. You can't teach somebody how to swim if they're only going to dip their toe in the water, right? If you're a swimming instructor and somebody's like, here, I want to learn how to swim, and you're like, all right, let's jump in. And they're like, well, I'm just going to jump in with my toe. You already know, like, we don't have time to develop a toe. Right. So you've got to make sure all your activities is designed to get people to the convention twice a year. Okay. So understand objections are good. Somebody be like, oh, I invited my person to come and they gave me an objection. Dude, you're going to get objections from here until somebody becomes wealthy. It's your job as a leader to overcome objections. Okay. I mean, that's what we do as leaders. Somebody has an objection, you overcome it. What an objection is basically somebody telling you to spend more time talking about this. Okay. So I'll give you an example. Objections are buying signs, not rejection signs. Okay. Objections are natural process in the decision-making process and give us knowledge on where we need to spend more time at with people when we're training them and teaching them. Okay. If somebody says, well, I don't want to talk to my friends. Boom. What are you going to talk about? I'm going to spend the next 30 minutes talking about why they have to do that. You understand what I'm saying? I just want to market to strangers. It's like, okay. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm going to smash that objection. Like, I'm going to destroy it. Okay. So that's how you move people. You've got to understand you're going to hear objections about everything. I don't like getting on Zooms. Whatever. It doesn't matter what their objection is. All that means is that you've got to spend more time doing what? Destroying that objection. That's all I do. I destroy objections for a living. Objections are where people need your help as a leader to remove them. Okay. So, like, give an example. An objection is simply a sign that a person is seriously interested. They just need that objection to be removed. Most objections are misunderstandings. that need to be addressed or questions that need to be answered, understand that there are no new objections. Okay. Repeat the objection, jump on their side, become an assistant buyer. Okay. This is from Zig Ziglar. He says there's something called sympathy and something called empathy. Sympathy means what? You feel like the other person feels. Empathy means you understand how they feel, but you don't feel the same way. Okay. Leaders must have empathy, not sympathy. Okay. Now, let me give you an example. If you see somebody up, if you're on a boat and you see somebody throwing up and you have sympathy, you're like, you start throwing up too. If you have empathy, you're like, man, I know how you feel. Let me go get you some Dramamine and water and let me hold your hair, right? You know what I mean? Like, let me hold your hair. That's magic. Okay. Now, let me share with you some more good ideas. Okay. These are the 8 keys. This is Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. 8 keys to understand what a cushion is. When you're talking to somebody and they have an objection, you have to use a cushion. Okay. A cushion is like basically like a pillow, right? It's kind of considered a cushion. Okay, if you're trying to translate this into another language, okay? Because last time I did this training and they couldn't understand what I was talking about when I said cushion. Okay, so be over the top with your listening skills. To be effective at communications, you've got to understand you've got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, right? Cushion is a statement that acknowledges that you're listening to the prospect, heard their objection, recognize its importance, and when prospect states an objection, your first action should be to use a cushion. Okay, cushion that objection, make them feel okay with the objection. You want people to give you objections. You don't want people not to give you objections because then how can you remove them? Okay, the cushion doesn't agree or disagree. Okay, or it doesn't even answer the objection. By showing empathy, you create more positive and trusting relationship with your prospect or your new planner, right? The number one thing people want more than anything else is to be heard and understood, right? So be sure to listen to their objection, even though you probably heard it 1,000 times before. You act like you're hearing it for the first time and make them feel good about sharing that information with you. Okay, wait until they're completely done sharing their objection, then use a cushion. Man, I can appreciate your concern. Like, you know what I mean? Thank you for sharing that with me. That's big time, right? I mean, I like that, right? I know how you feel, right? A lot of people felt the same way, or I know how you feel. Man, I used to feel the same exact way. I know exactly what you're going through because I've been there before myself. And here's what I found out. Boom, remove the check. So understand them, jump on their side, try to be an assistant buyer, never argue. Never argue, never argue, never argue. Okay, that gets you nowhere. Okay. So common objections how people overcome to come to convention, right? This is some things that people might say, right? I don't go where my team goes. Repeat the objection. So basically, what you're saying is like, if your team goes to the convention, then you're going to go. Is that what you're saying? So when you repeat the objection, if it's loaded with insinuation, you deplete that when you repeat it back to them, right? So repeat the objection, like, oh, okay, oh, oh, so you want to go to the convention, but you want your team to commit before you commit. Okay, is that what you're saying? Oh man, look, I'm so glad that you said that. There's my cushion. Here's what I found out, right? If you're a leader, right, of your team, you commit, your team's going to commit. When you agree, a dog wags the tail doesn't wag the dog, right? Yes, let's go. Let's make a commitment so people can follow you. People follow strength, not weakness. Let's make a commitment. Let's go, right? I'll go to the next one. Okay, so I'm listening. And I stopped there and I'm saying, okay, so basically what you're saying, is I use repeat the objection, use the cushion. So basically what you're saying is like, you want to go to the convention, but you want to go to the next one, right? Oh man, I know exactly how you feel, right? Like that's exactly how I was. I'm like, I'll just go to the next one. And then what I discovered is that attending a convention is going to put me 6 months ahead of everybody else that doesn't attend. Would you rather be in the same place you are right now, or would you rather be 6 months ahead of where you are right now? You'd rather be 6 months ahead, right? Then we got to find a way, no matter what, to be able to get you to convention. That's called having a backbone, not a wishbone, right? And it's the same thing with everything. Our business is a business of overcoming objections. Parenting is a business of overcoming objections. Being married for 30 years is overcoming objections. You understand? Like having a friendship is overcoming objections. Like it's just life. So you got to get good at it, right? I don't want to go. I don't like getting excited. Whatever, either one. I don't want to go. So what I'm going to do is repeat the objection. So basically, like you got started in Riman because you wanted to be able to get a brand new house in Hawaii. You haven't got that house yet, but you do want to become successful, but you just don't want to go to convention. Is that basically what you're saying? Yeah. Then I use a cushion. Look, I understand exactly where you're coming from. Like that. I mean, a lot of people felt like that, right? But here's what I learned, right? It is you're not in Riman until you've really been to a convention. Okay. And once you go to a convention, then you're really that's actually day one in Riman. The top money earners never miss a convention. Should we follow what's proven to work, or should we just kind of make up a new way that's not tested? Okay? We want to follow what works. Let's make a commitment. Let's get you to the convention. Okay. I might go, maybe I'll try. We know that's you can just see it, right? Repeat the objection. So basically, like you're saying, you want to become successful. You're totally committed to Riman. You're ready to make it happen, but you might go, or maybe, or you're gonna try your best. Yeah. And it's like, okay, look, I'm glad that you said that. Okay. Here's what I learned. Once we make 100% total commitment, right? Potential customers and planners will feel our commitment, and they're going to feel it's kind of like this. If you want to create a fire, you got to put wood in it first, right? You put wood in to create the fire. So you got to make a commitment first. Let's make a 100% commitment. And once we do, people are going to be able to feel that we're committed. Let's get you committed. Boom. Easy, right? It's caring enough about people, right? People that struggle with overcoming objections are people that don't really care about people. They look at people as dollar signs. They're like, I don't even make money getting people to convention. It's like, oh my God, that's how you become wealthy, is by helping other people become wealthy. So if you care about people, you're going to make sure no matter what, you get them to the convention. I'm not making any money. Doesn't seem worth it. Same thing, right? It's like basically what you're saying is you want to become successful in Riman, right? You know, but you're not really making any money yet, right? Yeah. And if you were making money, you're like, oh, I'd go to the convention, but you're not making any money yet. Is that what basically what we're saying? Yeah. Oh man, I totally understand what you're saying, right? What I learned is people that attend the conventions make 100 times more money than the people that don't go, right? How much money do you want to make with this thing? Well, then we got to be at the convention. Let's go. Let's get committed. Like literally, the people in the audience make 100 times more than the people that are sitting at home that didn't come, right? It's more than 100 times, probably 1,000 times. I went to an event already, same thing. Oh my God. So basically, what you're saying is that you've been to an event before. Oh man, I totally understand where you're coming from. You always want to repeat the objection, make sure it makes sense, use a cushion. What I've learned is the top people have been to events too. That's why they never miss events, right? Motivation is like brushing your teeth. You got to do it more than once, right? Okay. We got to make sure we get you to the event so you can become successful. There might be a nugget of information that you heard that opens up the floodgates for you. And if you're not there to capture that nugget, we're going to be in trouble. So we got to get you to the convention right now, no matter what. You just have a backbone, not a wishbone, right? My wife won't let me go. It's literally what everybody says to their friends whenever they don't want to do something their friends want to do, right? Let me check with my wife. It's like, shut. Like we all use that, right? Everybody that's married has used that at least once. Be honest, right? It's like, let me ask my wife. But it's like this. Look, I'm the type. I'm like, so you like you really want to become successful. Your wife's not gonna get mad. Your wife's not gonna get mad, or your husband's not gonna get mad if you're wealthy, right? They're gonna be pumped and really be supportive once you start, making a lot of money with this. But what you're saying is like you want to talk to them about whether you can go to the convention or not, right? Oh man, I totally with you on that. Use a cushion. I love talking to my wife, right? Here's what I know though for sure, right? What I've learned with your spouse will be exciting once you start making a lot of money, right? And then it's easier to beg for forgiveness and ask for permission sometimes, isn't it? Right? So let's just make a commitment, make a decision, and we'll find a way to make it happen. Let's go. Right? Once again, backbone, not a wishbone. You guys see what's going on? We can't figure out how to use hotel.com to book a room. This is actually a new one. I heard this one this convention. I want to go, but I can't get a hotel room. My wife heard this and said, "Oh my God, Tim, your team is getting dumber and dumber. Where are you finding these people at?" And it's like hotel rooms, like hotels.com. You can find a hotel room there, right? But some people, I'm like, babe, some people aren't like me and you. You know what I mean? Like usually my wife will book everything, but if she doesn't, I can figure it out on my own, right? Like I can figure out how to use a computer, right? So, but what I just tell them is like, oh, okay, cool. You want to become successful, make it happen in Riman. You really want to go to the event, but you don't know how to get a hotel room. Don't even worry. Look, I'll show you how to get online. It's super easy. It'll take you 5 minutes, right? It's just about helping people become successful. Does that make sense? My first convention, I slept in a freaking U-Haul. We bought a U-Haul. I was 17, 30 years ago. We just threw a mattress in a U-Haul, made it happen. Like you can't stop somebody that's committed, right? But it's like this. I'll go if you pay for me, right? I don't have the money to go, whatever, right? Read the objection, use a cushion. What I've learned to be true is why people the people that get the most out of the event are the ones that make the commitment themselves, right? If you pay for the event, you're going to get a lot out of it. It's like when you buy your own stuff, you take better care of it, don't we? You need to pay for the event, right? Just because you're going to be paying attention, right? If I paid for you, you may or may not even go in the event to pay attention, right? You might be outside hanging out in the bathroom, right? I'm busy that weekend, right? Use a cushion, right? What I've learned to be true is when you find a way to be able to make things happen that seem almost impossible, that's when you grow the most, right? We find a way to rearrange your schedule. Let's find a way. Trust me, I'm not going to let you miss this. I'm not taking no for an answer. That's where you trust me. Like, that's where you use that. Trust me. You can't miss this. I'm not taking no for an answer. That's where you have a backbone. You reach in, turn around, and look for those little bumps in your back. See, hey, you guys got those? Use them. Okay, those little bumps. Okay, so here's what I'm scared to travel alone. Right, repeat the objection. Use the cushion. What I've learned to be true is when we get the most out, when we get out of our comfort zones, when we grow the most. Right, we definitely want to grow, don't we? Okay, cool. Let's figure out a way to make it happen. I'll make sure that I'll pick you up at the airport or whatever. I'll make sure that you're dropped off, whatever you got to do, right? With somebody, arrange something, whatever. Like you gotta find a way to make one, right? Just take notes for me. Repeat the objection, use the cushion. What I've learned to be true is when you're at the event in person is when you're going to feel the heart of the company. We meet every one of the top earners. We can't get a haircut over the phone, can we? No, nor can I create that type of emotion by just taking notes. It's not just the information that you're going to get, it's the heartbeat. It's what you're going to feel. We got to get you there, okay? Same thing, it's too far, right? For me, it's like the moon is too far, right? But I'd still find a way to make it to the moon. Repeat the objection. What I've learned to be true is the bigger and harder the challenge, the greater the reward. I'm sure you'd agree, right? If we want the testimony, we got to pass the test, right? Don't we? All right, let's do it. Let's figure out a way to make it happen. Okay. I don't think I can be successful. Repeat the objection. What I've learned to be true is in order for you to be able to become successful, right? You got to be willing to learn how to be successful. Obviously, you'd agree with me. There's no better place to learn than the convention, wouldn't you? It's like we got to be at the convention, learn how to be successful. Well, that's why we're all going. You know what I mean? It's like, I could do these all night long. It's too short to notice. Only if I would have known earlier. Repeat the objection, use the cushion. You gotta always repeat the objection, use the cushion. I just don't have time to do all that right now. What I learned to be true is that people get the most out of the event are the newest people that just got started. With that being said, who's gonna get more out of the event than you? You're brand new. Let's go. We got to get you there. I'm not ready for that. Repeat the objection, use the cushion. What I've learned to be true is once you go, you're going to get the information that's going to be able to that you need to be able to be ready, right? You want to be ready to become successful, don't you? Yeah, then we got to get to the event so we can help you be successful. There's no objection that anybody could give me to the event. Why? Because I've never missed an event in 30 years. We only have 2 events a year in the US, 2 events in Asia, I believe. All I'm saying is I've never missed an event in my career in network marketing. You understand? Like I've never, ever missed an event. By the way, there's been times where I've had to go to an event when I had something else going on that I could not get out of. I would go to the event on Friday, come back, do that. And it was in Orlando. It was Orlando. We went to Orlando Friday. I was there Thursday, Friday. Left Friday night after the training on a red eye. Got home to LA, handled some business that I had to get done that I couldn't get away from. People come up to my wife and be like, "Where's Tim at?" She's like, "You know how he is. Dude's always somewhere, right?" It was like, after I'm like, you guys have no idea, but I ended up having to buy 2 tickets, right? Plane tickets, there and back, there and back. But I'm going to find a way to make one. Think about it. 30 years. Usually most companies have about 3 or 4 conventions a year. Been to like over 100 conventions, never miss one. So there's nothing anybody can say to me that's going to get me to go, oh, okay, yeah, I know how you feel. All right, I feel like that too. It's like, no, there's nothing that can stop me from becoming successful. And I make a commitment in my heart, make a commitment in my mind, over, under, through, I'm getting there. So raise your belief system. If you love the Riman products, you share that enthusiasm and you transfer that emotion, bam, you get new customers, right? You love the opportunity. You fall in love with the opportunity. You raise your belief and your love for the opportunity, transfer that emotion to somebody else. Boom, you got a new planner. You love conventions. You love the events. If you're in the front row, right, best that you can get, and you take literally like an entire journal full of notes, you're jacked. But if you're booger picking around, right, outside, you know what I mean, not even paying attention in the event, you don't really love the event. So you're going to have trouble trying to transfer that emotion. If you love the event with all your heart, you love being there and you love meeting people and you love the camaraderie and everything going on, you're going to get new people to the event. You're going to get your people to the convention, but you've had to raise your belief system, right? This is what I'm gonna wrap up with. Okay, people will be afraid not to join you if they know that you know where you're going. In order to become a successful leader, you got to look in the mirror right now and say, I'm going to the top, over, under, through. And when people can feel that, right, that's when they're going to want to get started with you. Confidence is contagious, but so is lack of confidence, man. You got to raise your confidence. You got to raise your belief system. You got to know without a shadow of a doubt in your mind that nothing can get in between you and success, that you're going to get there over, under, through. And the people that lock arms with you, whoever lock arms with you, and they do what you do, they're going to get the same results. But we can't let them get left behind. We got to promote stuff to them. Why? Because we're the leader. People don't care where you're. Look at this. People don't care where you are right now. They care where you're going. Okay, where are you going with this opportunity? Okay, I got my eyes dead set on making $1 million a month. Right, 100% committed, all in. I'm not working like this for any other reason. Right, it's like I want to get this thing to $10 billion a year in sales. Let's go. So I'm all in. But you got to be the type of leader that's what, a tour guide, not a travel agent. You got to show people how to get from where they are to where they want to be. Not a travel agent's like, hey, go be successful. A tour guide's like, let me tell you how to be successful. Okay, take them there. You got to overcome objections. It doesn't stop when people get started in Riman. It doesn't stop ever. It doesn't stop ever until you get somebody, in my opinion, making about 100,000 a month, and there's no more objections. Right? There's no more objections. So you've got to you're going to be overcoming objections sometimes from yourself. You understand? You're going to have a bad attitude or sometimes whatever. And you got to overcome that objection on your own. Right? You got to overcome your own objections. You got to be all in. Confidence is going after Moby Dick. Right? You guys know what Moby Dick is? Moby Dick was that giant whale. Right? Confidence is going after Moby Dick in a rowboat and taking the tartar sauce with you. You've got to believe. You got to give it everything that you got. Don't let this window of opportunity pass you by. Here's what I want to share with you guys. We've got to make sure that everybody gets qualified as senior manager and above so they can be there no matter what for the leadership day. Okay? They got to make sure that everybody's there for the leadership day. We're going to make it happen like never before. I want to tell you guys, I'm so fired up right now. I've never been more excited than I am right now. And I'm telling you, this is our time to make it happen. Let's lock arms. Let's give it everything that we got. And I can't wait for you guys here in America. I can't wait to can't wait to see each and every one of you in Long Beach if I don't see you before. I love you guys. Love your commitment. Hey, I'm at Disneyland right now. Right? I'm at Disneyland right now with my daughter's birthday. And I left my family to come over here and spend time with you guys. It's not because I need it. It's because I love you guys. So let's go all out, man. Let's make this thing happen. Okay? Let's do it together. I love you guys. Appreciate you.